Howdy guys, today we're going to talk about Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Iron Maiden's 7th studio album. Now this album saw Maiden at their most creative, most crazy, most over-the-top theatrical version of themselves that they were. Just building upon everything they'd done in Power Slave and Somewhere in Time and albums before that, and creating something new, something classic, something original that they'd not done before. They wanted to just keep getting better, using that epic formula that they'd done, perfected on Power Slave, and use that as a kind of a template just to do more things. Not necessarily greater things, just things. And Somewhere in Time definitely proved they could. Now, where to start? The artwork, obviously. The artwork, once again done by Derek Riggs, is fantastic. It's not as interesting as Somewhere in Time, but it's definitely more beautiful, more artistic. Somewhere in Time is more comic booky, so it's more artistic. Definitely one of the most beautiful Maiden album covers Riggs has done. Now, okay, it's distracting me. How's the hair? Okay. Now, so that's the artwork. The production on the album disappointed me quite a bit. I mean, Somewhere in Time was fantastic. The addition of the bass synth just added so much to Harris's bass, but the drums were loud, and the bass in general was loud, and the guitar sounded crisp and clear and clean. Which they do. Everything sounds great in this album, but it's a bit too low. It really, it's just the big main problem with the production is it just sounds quiet. It doesn't sound as loud as you would want it to be. And on an album like this, you really want the music to be loud. Another problem is, and that it's not so much a problem for the other instruments as it is for the bass, because the bass, like on the start of the Clairvoyant, is a bass. The bass is the main part of the intro to that song, and when it's that low, it can bring problems. It's not that low that you can't hear it. You can definitely hear it, but compared to Somewhere in Time, it's low. So production is it's good production, but I want it a bit louder. So what can you do? Now Bruce's vocals on this album are quite interesting because it's kind of the period where he was going a little bit raspy with his vocals that he would obviously do to a bigger extent on No Prayer for the Dying. So he was getting a little bit raspy, and you could hear a little bit of that on this album, but it works. It gives the music, like I said on Somewhere in Time when he was experimenting, it gives the music on Seventh Son a more aggressive touch, a more aggressive feel, if you will. And this works. It works with the songs, which it's just fantastic. Bruce Dickinson, man, what can you say? He's brilliant. In his prime, bow down. Just bow down to him. That's all I'm saying. The instruments, okay? The vocals are just one touch, one thing. What about the instruments? This is Maiden at their peak. They were playing super fast at this time. They were just, they were monsters. They were a whole other kind of band than they were 5-6 years ago. The guitars, Adrian and Dave are just an amazing team. Probably one, definitely the top 5 guitar duos of all time. In my opinion, they're way above KK Tipton and KT. Fuck, I'm doing a Judas Priest discography. I can't remember the fucking name. KK Downing and Glenn Tipton. There you go. There you go. But forget that. Adrian and Dave, brilliant guitarists. Their solos on the album are meticulous and awesome and very well written. Very well written indeed. They rule. So good. So good. But we'll get to that. Also, yeah, the instruments. Everyone performs great. Nico on the drums, fast and furious, brilliant. Harris, probably his best bass performance, even though I would have preferred him a bit louder. And of course the guitars sound brilliant. Adrian and Dave, perfect. Now, the writing on this album. Obviously it's a concept album, so they were working around the whole theme of the seventh son of a seventh son with mystical powers and shit, and it works. I'll tell you. I mean, when you read the titles of the songs and just go down through them, and you know the story of Seventh Son, it just works. And the songs themselves, they vary from heavy to ballady, but it works. It works. It's like Maiden are telling you the story, and it works. I will say it again. It works. It's brilliant. Bruce finally got more writing credit on the album than he did last time, which he got none. And he's welcome back. He's welcome backed. Welcome backed. But he's welcome back. All the team, in fact, gets some writing credits pretty much, except for Nico. I think Dave even gets a writing credit or two. And yeah, the writing's brilliant. The solos that were written are pretty much, the solos don't change from album to album, but they're as great as the others. The keyboards add another distinction, I think, which I forgot to mention when I was mentioning the instruments. But yeah, they added in keyboards, which sometimes they overpower the guitar, but not many. And I actually like that. I like the addition of the keyboard. It gives it a very what would you call it? It's just another depth, just another idea that Maiden had that would make their music sound better, and it did. So yeah, this album's just fantastic. Whatever gripes I have with it is it's just really the production. If it was a bit louder, this album would be near perfect. I mean, there's not a single song in this album that's bad. I mean, the epic Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, probably in their top 3 epics ever. Clairvoyant, brilliant. Really, the only song that I can fault is The Prophecy. But it's a great song too. It's just the weakest song on the album. But if any other band done The Prophecy, it would be their best song. Do you get what I'm saying here? This album, any attention Powerslave gets. Powerslave's a great album, but any attention Powerslave gets, Seventh Son deserves 3 times as much. Because Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is 3 times the album Powerslave is. And more. Guys, you have to listen to it. 10 out of 10 for me. 10 out of 10. It's a fantastic album. Forget the production. Okay, that's just my personal teeny little gripe. Forget that. You need to listen to this album before you die. All I'm saying. That's my review, guys. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good shit. And I will see you next time. Peace.